Happy New Year! Yeah, so here's my roundup of. I noticed that I did actually look through my old videos just as well because there's a guitar I'd forgotten about. All the guitars end up accumulating for the personal collection in 2023. Some went, but some new ones. So this one I bought exactly a year ago today on eBay. It took a few weeks to arrive, and then I kind of forgot about it because I got it. There was problems with the bridge. I did fix it. Needed to do the frets. I did all these things, but by that time it was kind of months down the line. I kind of never really gave this guitar much of a shot. It's really good. Yeah, so I kind of wanted a proper Japanese RG for years, and I watched this for months, couple of months. It was a year and 2 months ago now when I first saw this. Because I was looking at RGs and thinking, 400 quid, probably 500 quid probably gets you a Japanese RG, maybe sell something and get one of them. And then it was like, oh my god, there's one on eBay, and it's a Paul Gilbert one. At that price, it's like, no way, it's like even better than just being an RG. It's because all the ones I was looking at that were kind of kicking about that price were plain black or, not particularly interesting. This one's actually the Paul Gilbert model. So I ended up buying these pickups, and that was it. I didn't pay for anything else. I already had DiMarzios in it, and the guy was selling this extra set of Steve Vai Evo ones, which when I put them in I decided I didn't like them, but playing them now I do quite like them. There's just a wee bit of the fear playing a guitar like this because it's like I can't really play Paul Gilbert stuff at his level at all, obviously. But it's interesting having a guitar. It's basically just an RG with, instead of having the volume knobs where they normally are, it's just got one volume there, painted on F holes, and an upside down headstock, which doesn't really make any difference. The neck is slightly thicker than a wizard neck. It's basically a wizard neck, but it's like 2mm deeper or something. So it's almost like if you imagine just putting a thicker fretboard on it. It's kind of what it feels like. Yep. So that was the 1st of January. I bought that, but before that arrived, I oh my God, I don't know if I'm going to play all these guitars, but yeah. So PGM 300, PGM 30 from 2002. The last year with the original type Floyd Rose, and the first year with the PGM neck profile rather than just a wizard, or the regular wizard. Yep. So next, I got this. Someone actually contacted my pal Wayne because he runs a Yoshi Guitars fan page, and the guy's like, I've got this. It was good. It needed work done on it. To be honest, I can't even remember what the work was it needed done on it now. But it wasn't working. And so someone contacted my pal Wayne, and it was like, he's down in Leicester, but runs the Yoshi page, trying to find some info on it. And the guy was going to sell it, and then it used to be his dad's guitar. But he was going to take it into a shop and get them to fix it. I think it needed a new nut. That kind of looks like the original nut. I can't remember. Saddles? No. I can't remember what was missing. There was a few bits missing. Tuners. I think I did I think there was the buttons were missing. I did work to it anyway to make it work. And it was talking to the guys that up here. It's kind of an advice thing. And I didn't realise he was in Glasgow. He was just talking about this guitar, and it was like, he's like, yeah, take it in. It's going to cost him 100 quid to get it fixed, and then it's probably not going to sell for much more than that. The shop's going to want. So it's like, basically, it was like, where are you, Glasgow? So I went and got this. There's actually a video of me going to the kebab. I kept getting a kebab on the way there. Yeah, so this is a Yoshi made in 1981, I think. Not sure exactly where these come from. It's almost exactly the same. Well, it's just the Grant guitars that look like this, I think, are unsold Yoshis that were rebranded, or the company went under or something. It's just this is a cheapy one, the bolt-on neck. It's got a lovely amber thing on it. It's got DiMarzio type super distortion. They go to copies that all Japanese guitars have. It's got a coil split switch. I should probably change that to a coil choice switch. In fact, I'm going to change that to a coil choice switch because I might as well. 2 volumes of tone. Got a laminate neck, like a 3-piece, same as the Grant ones, and 3-strung bridge. Actually, not entirely unlike the Washburn Raven. Well, it's exactly the same bridge. It's on the Washburn Raven. There. Another fantastic guitar. That'll be single coil then. And that'll be humbucker. Yeah, sounds quite. Doesn't sound as bright as that RG, but I think that RG, the reason I didn't like it is because it sounded so bright. So I don't think any of the guitars are going to sound as bright as it does. Maybe I do quite like. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's really worthwhile keeping original, but I'd probably rather just have a master volume rather than the 2 volumes. And maybe I'd probably rather that was a coil choice, just purely for the reason of like what I did there when I had to try and work out which one was split and which one wasn't. If I put the coil choice in the middle position, it's humbuckers, so I know when it's in single coil mode just by looking at it rather than having to, you know, which way around it goes. So another guitar I did intentionally buy the RGs. I was like thinking, near new guitar. I think I did not too badly. Well, not last year in 2022. Not buying that many guitars for myself. Then obviously we're now talking in January and I've bought 2. Oops. This is just one of those ones that pops up and I can't say no to. Thoroughly pro level guitar for peanuts, basically. Yep. Then. So I've written down some stuff. Yeah, there's like May the 30th. So this was February the 24th. My pal Gordon said, have you seen this guitar? I think it might be a Japanese one, blah blah blah, for sale on Gumtree. The guy, what, 60 quid for it? It's like, I phoned him up and asked him. It was just one of these ones that says, is anyone interested in this at no price on it? So I went and saw this mad guy in Bishop Briggs who had like a wee caravan sitting out in his garden. And it was full of just bits of guitars. He wasn't a guitarist, but he like did woodworking. I think it was just kind of like a wee hobby for him. He had various just cheap guitars that he'd bought, and then not bodged repairs on them, but done like woodworky repairs. He was fixing a lot of acoustic guitars, and then just selling them on for peanuts. And this one I was kind of like, I can't remember. To be honest, it was out somewhere anyway, so it was like it was only a 5-minute detour, and it was like going to see this Strat. I've never heard of Tempest, but looking at it and thinking it could be Japanese. And so I basically went in, sat in his wee lovely caravan, sat down, just went, damn it, because it's just pure amazing. So the only damage on it's right there, which is the first thing you see. The rest of it's in unbelievable condition. Like I've seen other versions of this guitar, never a Tempest model, but the pickups have gone totally yellow. This one, it looks brand new. It's like, considering it's I'm going for late 70s, because I can find this guitar with different brand in the Ibanez catalogue, and you get Antorias and CSLs and all that. Tempest were apparently an Australian company who imported them. I don't know how it ended up in Scotland. But it's quite a higher spec one than these normally are, because this has got the Alnico pickups in it, big pots, all original. It's got a brass nut. It's got the bullet truss rods. It's not a one-piece maple neck. It's just no, it's a separate fingerboard. Yes, a separate fingerboard. But and it's actually, it's got a skunk stripe as well. That's kind of interesting. Normally these ones are a laminate neck, but it's not. But what it is it's a pure amazing white Strat. Still got the original 3-position switch on it, so it's only got 3 positions. But this is pretty much as good as a Strat can be. Look, I've got a couple of Fender Japanese Strats are basically the same as this. It's the same factory that built them. This is just before they started doing a deal with Fender. This is the ones where they weren't happy because they were actually making guitars that were better than whatever Fender was from this year. This is right in slap bang the year with the 3-bolt neck on it. Oh, they never did it with this one. It's kind of a 71 reissue, or is it a 69 when they put the big headstock on it, the bullet truss rod. The bridge as well, it's a Japanese one. It's the same one that's in the Washburn A20, where, see this metal plate bit, it doesn't have a separate block, it's just a solid steel block, and the base plate are one piece of metal, which is a very, very expensive way of doing it, but so it's like that. I think it's exactly the same saddles, it's the same bridges on that, so it's kind of funny the way Japanese basically it'll be Goto, they made everything. So just as I was saying there when I was looking at that guitar there, the Yoshi, with the identical bridge. I don't mean one very similar, it's the identical bridge to the one that's on the Raven, and it's the same with this bridge being identical to the one that's on the Washburn stage. See, so they were all just buying, they didn't make their own bits. You find the same with Aria, and all the Japanese factories basically use Goto pickups and stuff because they were next door, kind of thing. Yeah, so I suppose it's a Strat, so it's got to be clean. But it's the most Stratty of Strat sounding Strats. Really low output. So a real Django fest. You can get the middle positions if you do it Hendrix style and just set the switch between the 2 positions. Yeah, so that was February, so we're getting to the end of February and I've already bought 3 guitars. And let's not piss about here, 3 awesome guitars. All Japanese, 2 all really pretty well priced. Yeah, and then, so looking through my list here, May the 30th was the first video I did of JPAX number 2, which was the first, so the week before May the 30th, May the 23rd, I went and painted, me and Scott fixed Jen's shed, and that was the day that she gave me a guitar, a Strat that she found at a car boot sale, Said, what are you going to do with it? I said, I'll probably turn it into a buckycaster. And then said, well, I'll paint it. What's a buckycaster? And I told her, and she went, well, can I just paint it my way instead? I was like, yeah, go for it. So that's how I ended up with J-Pax number 1. Oh. I don't want to put that one away again. I like that. It's enough a nice guitar. Mind you, so is this. So I didn't realise that was actually. I didn't really realise that the Strat was before I'd got this one. Kind of explains why this one kind of slipped through as well. How in tune are we? Not. So let's just do that. Put the guitar. I will get a new tuner. Yep. So this Strat, this doesn't really count as a new guitar. I'm not going to play any more of these ones. So this was the just basically showing off Victor J-Pax 1. This was a guitar I already had. It was a Japanese Strat I bought last year, I think, the year before, and the neck had been battered up with a hammer. It was a Mexican Fender body, but the neck and the pickups were Japanese and the tuners, and the bridge was Mexican as well, or is Mexican. And I took it off and I put it, I don't know, like a purple Squire body. It was kind of fine. I only bought it because it was a cheap price for a Japanese Strat. I think it's got a DiMarzio in it as well. DiMarzio and 2 original vendors. So basically when I saw this, it was like, right, well, so that I'm not putting the cheapy no brand stuff back on it again, so on it goes the expensive stuff. So another Strat, and this is one of those ones as well, it's very similar to the white one. It's like, this is an actual Fender brand one though, from 1988, so it's got like 10 years, 15 years on it, on that one, so it's got like the one piece neck, and all that. Yeah, so this doesn't count as a new guitar though, so I'll stop talking about these. What's coming next? On August the 3rd, I bought the Tartan J-Pax. I'm not going to play. I'm going to stop playing these because these aren't technically new guitars because I already had them. I was going to sell this because it was a hideous colour, and then but the thing is, it's a really nice bass because it's full size body, but the neck's a 32 inch instead of being 34 inch, and it's got a really thin neck, it's like a guitar neck up here. It's really good. It's got a cool brass bridge on it because it needs a bridge because the strings are much closer together than a normal bass, the PJ setup. So yes, that was a good one. In between that, there were other. That's what I'm talking about, the J-Pax ones. I got that done on the second time I went over to Jen's for the wee red bass, and the Raven. I also got a Yamaha bass done, which is still in Jen's shed. I forgot about that one. An RBX bass and a Flying V. So the Flying V ties into the next guitar, which was I decided I didn't really want the Flying V because I've got a Flying V, so I was like asking Jen if I could just sell it. So sold it, got the money, immediately bought my next guitar, which I'll take away. This, okay, technically this is a J-Pax as well. Well, not technically, this is number 42. But when I sold that Flying V, it by coincidence got me the same amount of money as this guitar cost. I drove up to Thingy to get this, Glenrothes Kirkcaldy, out the East Coast somewhere. It was just black, but it did come with 3 Seymour Duncan pickups in it. And basically I bought 3 Seymour Duncan, the price of these pickups used, I bought them. guitar was free. So here we have, I think it's a 2002 as well, is it? It's a 2003 Japanese Fujigen built RG 470. 470, which is 550 was the classic one. 470 was slightly cheaper because it didn't have a scratch plate. Apart from that, it used to be HSH. I think that was why this had never sold, because people didn't want 3 humbuckers. As obviously you wonder how well done has that been, and the answer is it was really well done. It was obviously just black. I'm quite lucky. I put it on there. So I bought it on the August the 8th and August the 18th. On August the 18th, I had it back. So 10 days after I bought it, it looked like this. That's right. It's got the green bib on it. Yeah, and I had it. So I had it for a couple of days, and then I took it over to Jen's when we were going over to buy the J-Pax guitars, just to show Scott. I feel like I got a Japanese RG. It's pure amazing. Then Jen's like, "Can I paint it?" And it was like, "Yeah, okay." And in fact, I didn't even think about it. Split down and put it back together again. I don't think it was meant to look like this, but I'm loving it. So this has the wizard neck, which is slightly thinner than the Paul Gilbert. I need to shoot the two of these out together, actually. There's one thing I do. This one, because it's going to paint, I'm just going to do this one as assuming it doesn't have the paint on it, right? Obviously the paint on it is the better of the two. But this does not have a barrel jack. This has got a normal jack socket. Also, the jack socket's at an angle when you sit it on the floor. Doesn't do it, whereas the Paul Gilbert's got a barrel jack and it's there, which means you can't lean the guitar against the wall with a thing in it. So that's an annoying thing, which I could live with. But I've not replaced the volume control on this yet. I keep meaning to. It's really wobbly. Yeah, so I said this is Seymour Duncan's. We've got an Invader in the bridge, a Screaming Demon bridge pickup in the middle, and a Pearly Gates Billy Gibbons pickup in the neck. It wasn't wired this way, but I've rewired it so that in the positions 2 it splits both these pickups, and in position 4 it splits both these pickups, so you get basically an HSH layout with a 5-way switch, but in the middle position it's a humbucker, so you don't normally get a middle position humbucker. Obviously there was thoughts of me putting other pickups in this, but these ones are awfully good. I've got like pickups I could put in here which still look cool and still be really good, and basically end up getting the guitar free, but do that later. The way to sell these things is never sell pickups and stuff is never to sell them in a guitar, because I mean these pickups, if you put them on eBay, the guy would have easily got the money for the guitar easily. Right, middle humbucker, because you don't normally get a middle humbucker. Yeah, so I can't really say anything against RG's, just about the usual stuff. They're the best playing guitars and they're the most versatile, and probably the best guitars you can buy. Looks wise, they're a bit bland. Not this one. This would be the ultimate RG. I like the old Roadster guitars. It just seems like such a natural evolution. With its evolution pickups, and I think of most of the ones you could get when I bought this one, it was like that was one of the better looking ones, just because it's got the stupid F holes on it, which again make it, I don't know. You've got the technically most stripped down in Formula 1 type of all guitars you can get, the most clinical and 300 mile an hour Formula 1 car, and I'll just paint big white stupid, not even real F holes, just painted on ones. Yeah. I get Paul Gilbert. He's a funny guy. But I mean, I have to be honest, I was kind of falling for this one a little bit before I even took it over to get painted. Obviously, I love it more now. But even when it was just black, it was kind of maybe just the plain black guitars, unstated. Understated, not me, is it? Yeah. So on August the 18th, I bought the Cube amp as well that day when I was over to get this. pick it up off Jen. I probably picked up the wee rolling cube in Mary Hill, I think that was, which I don't have here. I still just left it over at Jen's. It's really annoying, actually. That's like the third time that I've decided I needed it, and that's only the third time I've actually left it at Jen's. Normally I just kept putting it in the boot for like since May, or what was it? What did I say? That was August. Since August, using it for the jam, putting it back in the boot of the car, taking it out of the boot of the car, putting it in my hall, doing that every week, and then the last 3 weeks I've left it, and that's the third time that I've thought, oh, the rolling cube, great wee bass amp, yeah. And then on my further year of not buying any more guitars, I remember doing a video thinking about, I was like, what's the next J-Packs I want? Because I've got a fair collection. This is all of them, apart from that Yamaha bass. So it doesn't seem as ridiculous now because it's over 6 months. It was when I've been doing them for a month and I had 6. It's like, yeah. So the 1, 3, 14, 42, before 42, but I've not numbered it. It'll be in the book. I'll put numbers on it. And the other one I've got is the West Tone Thunder, but I got that years ago, so it doesn't really count as a J-Packs, even though it was Jen that painted them. Yes, and then we're on to... So I was sitting there thinking, oh, what a guitar. You're looking at all my guitars thinking, what one's missing? Because I had like an RG, I suppose you'd argue that's a Les Paul, Gibson-y thing, had a Strat, have got a P bass, got a full-size active bass. It's like, what's missing? It's like, really, there isn't a Telecaster there. So I was just looking about, and then literally the day after that, when I was doing that video, up popped this. And I saw it and I was looking at it and it was like, oh, it's horrible chrome knobs on it, and it was the pickups had been replaced. I did a Seymour Duncan in the neck and an actual 78 Fender pickup in the bridge, which I've still got. But so this was going to be... I've never been a fan of... I'm a fan of its ability to stay in tune. I've not played this in weeks. I've never been a fan of the Telecaster Customs. This is a CSL. This wasn't actually as cheap. Same price as the Yoshi and the Tempest put together. So, an expensive one. But again, it was like, I'll get J-Packs to paint that. That'll be cool. Cool. And then as soon as I saw it, I was like, no. I was looking at it. It was just a shame about the chrome knobs and Telecaster knobs, and then it had like the funny pickups. I was looking at the bridge and thinking, the saddles, something not right with the saddles. And then the guys, after I'd bought it, the guys, you want this? You want the other bits? And it was like a poly bag with the original Maxon pickups, the original bridge, and the original witch hat knobs. Yeah. So basically, again, another one of these. If I sold the bridge, the Fender pickup, if I sold the Fender pickup and the Seymour Duncan, I could definitely have got this guitar free. I think I could possibly get that just for the Fender pickup. And the Seymour Duncan ones, apparently, me and my pal looked it up, and it was, I didn't get a serial number on the back or something, and it said something about this is one of the word golden era was used because it's got square holes in the top of it or something. It doesn't say Seymour Duncan on the top, but apparently it's like a valuable one worth a couple £100, so getting pickups is great. Don't buy them new. Amazing wide range Maxon. I tell you, these are actually date coded 1974. So this guitar's a 1974. Same catalogue as the Tempest, so you can get this exactly branded. Ibanez actually did a demo of one of these a couple of years ago. This exact guitar, apart from it said Ibanez Silver Series on the headstock. I absolutely loved it. So that was when I saw this one. It was like kind of, I think that's the same guitar. It totally is. It's one of these ones, if you've got a Japanese 70s Telecaster, it's this one. Doesn't really matter what the brand's on it. They all kind of only came in black. So if you've got the Telecaster Deluxe, this is the custom, isn't it? I can't remember. The Deluxe is the one with the Strat headstock, the 2 humbuckers. It only came in brown. But it's got such a great variance between the neck, big fat mofo, and the bridge. It's so Telly-ish. and both on. That's an awful good guitar. An awful good guitar. Quite a few of the guitars this year have been pure bangers, absolute belters. Actually, yeah. I mean, talking about having like a, if you spent years whittling down and building up an amazing guitar collection, you had like 4 guitars, and it was these ones. You know, it's like, oh, just a couple of Japanese RGs, Japanese Tele, Japanese Strat, and another Japanese. Maybe seems to be a thing going on here. The next guitar is not Japanese. It does have a Japanese bridge on it. So it's time for the Corker. So this is the October the 30th is the day that I did a live stream outside BL Guitars in Pasadena, and I pointed out the Corker guitar in the window because I thought it was a funny name. I hadn't even really looked at the guitar, and then a couple of days later it was mine. And this might be the best guitar in the world. One off, built by a guy who Bill reckons might be dead. He's not had anything on his reverb shop for ages. Hand built, one off, solid walnut body, one piece body, DiMarzio super distortion, and a true tone zone Goto bridge, 6-way freeway switch with fancy wiring on it. The best looking wood. Favourite bit of all time is the fact that, see the way the fingerboard has got this binding on top of it but only goes down, so that's actually, you get this maple stripe which is the fingerboard, but it's had this piece of 2 bits of wooden binding put on top of it. That's my favourite bit. But there's a lot of things to be favourite about it. Look at that neck join, which looks pure lumpy and doesn't look comfy at all, but actually, see, when you're playing up high, you put your thumb on that wee pad, it seems to work really well. It's been thought about. And it's the first guitar I've ever come across has got 23 frets. Didn't notice that for months. Yep, so this was smuggled back from the US of A. I actually took this on the Greyhound bus from Harrisburg to Newark. I didn't have a case for it, so I basically just standing outside Newark just with this guitar on, carrying 2 bags, one of them full of guitars. But what a banging guitar. I've wired up this. I've kind of grown on this 6-way switch thing. It's kind of like it's like, you know, normally it's just 3 ways, so you get like 3, and then if you push it down the way you get another 3, so it's like a dual bank thing. So I've got it just wired up as if you're on the top 3 neck pickup, neck humbucker, and then in the middle it's outer coils, which is a sort of single coil, and then bridge humbucker. So it's exactly what you would expect on a 2 humbucker guitar, apart from the middle position, something fancy. And if you go on the lower one where you've got the neck humbucker, push it down the way you get the neck single coil, and then in the middle you get inner coils, and then down you get the bridge in a single coil. And I'm finding I'm actually using it quite a lot. I would love that if there was a way of if you just had an HSH, which you can. I'm actually going to do it with the JPAX prototype. You can't do it with a toggle switch, but you can do it with a toggle switch. You can't do it with a normal toggle switch, but with a blade switch where you've got humbucker and then both of them split in single coil, so you get that sort of in the middle Telecaster thing, and then humbucker on the bridge. I just noticed that I use it all the time. To be honest, the sounds I've been using mostly, all 6 are pretty useful. Maybe not so much the bridge pickup on its own, but the thing about the good about the freeway switch is you can wire it in any way you want. It doesn't matter. You can make them all do anything because there's about 50 terminals on it. Still only get 6 positions, but you can make it do any things. There's only so many things you can do with a blade. You can do anything with that. You know, a blade, it has to be neck pickup and then middle pickup and then bridge pickup. You can't have it neck, bridge, middle, you know. So I really didn't need any more guitars this year at all. That was fine, and then we get to the last one, which was only last week, so I've almost caught up. I managed to do it in less than an hour. That's not bad. We're on to the finally, eventually buying a Gibson Les Paul. Ooh. So this is a 50s tribute. Sounds in tune. Doesn't sound on though. Maybe not perfectly in tune. There is relatively new strings on it. The thing hasn't been played in 6 months, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this one has no paint on it, hence why it was cheap. It's been sanded on the back as well. Thankfully the headstock's not been sanded. Yeah, so 2013 Gibson Les Paul, my first ever Les Paul I've actually owned. I've had a couple pass through my hands, but I've never actually owned a proper Gibson Les Paul. I don't even know if I've owned an Epiphone one. Not that I'm definitely keeping this. It's not been decided yet. It does seem awfully good though. I think I've decided I've worked out what it is that I don't like about Les Pauls and what I think everybody probably doesn't like about Les Pauls. See, when I'm playing the guitar, I set the guitar flat on, square onto my body. And a Les Paul, the neck angle is so far back, you have to wear it there like that, which I understand. It kind of makes it like you're like a gunslinger or something like that, which I get. As soon as I noticed that that's what was going on, it's like, because that the neck here is in the same position as the neck is when I'm playing my Strat, but the guitar is normally there, so it's kind of, you have to play it. I was thinking about this actually. It'd be a good idea, see, on a purely practical note, if you're playing on small stages, because you get the guitar at an angle, you're taking up less room on the stage. Is my thinking, rather than being like that, which is, you know, it's like you're there, whereas if you're playing there, you get an extra 6 inches before you're hitting the person who's standing next to you playing his Les Paul. But it's a kind of, it just makes a whole guitar feel weird, and I think anyone who's a massive Les Paul fan and doesn't really like anything else, that's why. You're just the opposite way around. I suppose it just depends on how you get used to it. I mean, I don't think they're not great for playing sitting down, but I never play sitting down anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it's the standing up thing, the way that it's got to kind of sit on the side of your belly, kind of pointing forwards to get the neck where it is, because most guitars it's a straight line. You can see it's quite an extreme angle from here to here. You know what I mean? It's like this design of it. So it means that if you look at this, how much further the head down is. I'll just lay this down in the ground. Will you? Don't do that. Yeah, so this one actually comes in quite spec'd, quite like a proper. I don't know, when does it become a proper Les Paul? I mean, okay, it doesn't have humbuckers, it's got P90s, but the early ones didn't have that. It's got the maple cap. Looks like a one-piece maple cap. It's not like a book. Scratch that, it's a two-piece maple cap, but they're not book matched. They just they're very similar, the two pieces that are, it kind of looks like it's one piece. And then it's like, there's no binding on it, but it does because it's got like a maple cap on it. It's a bit thicker than that. And it's got like a 4-piece mahogany body. Okay, 4 pieces, you're not going to get that on the 10 grand one, mahogany neck. It doesn't have any binding on it, but it's got the fancy inlays. So, I think, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with this yet. There's a temptation just to, I don't know, am I going to keep it? I don't know, I can't decide. It'll take a wee bit of a while. I mean, it's one of those things that's it's a kind of surprising one. I kind of bought a Les Paul just so I could say I had one on the site. And it's a really good one, but it's still, there are inherent. One of the things that happened with this was actually, I saw it when I was looking through that. In February, I set this guitar up when it was still black before I knew it, but I was never going to buy it. So I'd already done the nut, the frets, set everything up on this guitar last year. So it's actually playing really well. I don't know if I can't say that for all of them. But I think it's got a little bit of a bonus points from me for not being a 2.5 grand one. And I mean, in all honesty, the difference between this, okay, if it had decent paint on it, but the problem is one of the reasons that this one was cheap is because they come with crap paint on them. It looks like someone kind of, brush painted it with gloss, hammerite or something like that. But fun guitar. I suppose there's one more which I just got the other day, which I suppose technically doesn't even need to count. Does it even need to count? It doesn't even need to count. You saw the video of the guitar safari I did in Hogmanay. What do you call it? The heart-shaped guitar. Well, Jen bought that. I was going to buy it for myself, and then just when I was going, Jen was like, "Oh, you need to go to the bank." I was like, "Yeah, I need to go to the bank." So it's doubled my walk because the guy's house was just over there, and the shop with the bank in it's over there. So I was like, "Oh, I'll just send you the money for it." So she just sent me the money, and it's like, "Yeah, I'll just go to the bank and take that out then." Yeah, the wee Daisy Rock. So that it's not one for the collection. Obviously, I've bought other guitars, bought them, fixed them, sold them up, or the ones that I've bought that are waiting to be buckified or whatever. I didn't count them. These are only the collection guitars. And even then, I shouldn't have put the J-Pax one in it, apart from that one, because that's the only actual new guitar. So, all in, actual new guitars I bought for myself, or ended up buying for myself. PGM 30, Tempest Strat, CSL Telly, forgot about the Yoshi, the Woody, which we have now lost. Woody? Corker. I did have a guitar called the Woody. And then a Les Paul. So, I mean, quite a range of guitars, really, isn't it? It's like, yeah, so it's like I was saying there, if that was your collection, was a couple of RGs, a Strat, a Telly, a Les Paul, I don't even know, where would you put that? Somewhere I guess it's a 2 humbucker Strat, sort of, but it's got a Les Pauly neck. It's Strat scale, it's got Les Pauly pickups. Something in the middle, and the Corker. I guess it's not really a Strat, is it? But I mean, I think if you had to name it as something, it's going to be a Strat, and this one I'm not going to argue this is a Les Paul. So if I had to rank them, I don't know if I could do that. Well, the best one's a Corker, because this is probably the best guitar in the world. Really, I don't see any other way around it. That's just how it is. Also, it was the best priced one as well. Mind you, I did. It wasn't free. Yes, it was free. It was free. I did run the shop, deal with customers for a couple of days, and wired up half a dozen guitars and set up another half dozen, just because it was hanging about. But it was basically just, you can just have it. I even just going back to it, it's like, it's a different league. It really is. It's just like a total comfy. And again, there's that thing. It's sitting on my belly, not sitting like this, which is where the Les Paul wants to sit, which I much prefer. This is actually heavier than the Les Paul. Yeah. So Dave, this is the best one. The second best one. I'm not going for money here. I'm just going for the best playing and best sounding, best built. That telly's awful good. But then you get the RG. See, I would rather have the telly. If you were to give me one guitar, I would take the telly over the RG. So the telly's the second best one. And then, would I have the white Strat over the RG as well? But the RG kind of does everything the Strat does, I suppose. A bit more metal, isn't it? I don't know. I'd put the Strat above the RG. I can't put the Strat above the RG. It costs 5 times as much. Oh, it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't think I can rank them. It's going to come down to the, currently as it's sitting, the Les Paul's the bottom. I'm afraid it's, but the most expensive one, to me. But it's not as good as any of the other ones. The Tempest Strat's awful good. It's one of those things. The Tempest and the white one and the black telly have this from the 70s thing, which you can't really. I know. I mean, that's from the 80s. So, but it's just like being that little bit older. It kind of shows on them. Plus, the two of them are in really good condition. They're really good examples, and they're really good. If these had a different brand, if it was exactly the same guitar, but it had Ibanez on the headstock, they'd be worth £1,000 each or something like that. And I didn't pay that for them. I suppose going for price wise, the Strat was a better buy. It cost half as much as the telly, and it's not half. The telly's not twice as good, so maybe the Strat's the next best one. Yeah, and the Yoshi's it's just such a fantastic little guitar. So that's why I like the Grant ones. I didn't buy the Grant ones because I thought they were pretty. It's just like, it's such a good guitar, and people are sitting there arguing over Harley Benton's and what the best Squire Classic vibe to get is. They're not even in the same league as that. That's better than the fucking Gibson Les Paul. Like, it's a better guitar. I mean, if you offered to give me one of them, I would take the Gibson and sell it. But that could be my only guitar, and I'd be totally happy. I've got nearly all the guitars I've got here. But I mean, I think my snobbiness is just coming through because I can't go over this thing. It's quirky. I'm sure that maybe that's why I like it so much. The neck, it's that I can't go over how much the neck is thin here. It just playing here is just an absolute dream. The neck doesn't get thicker, or it doesn't feel like it gets thicker when you get up here, and then you just get this block where it just stops. It's like it makes the neck feel, I don't know, more sure. It's a very solid and resonant beast. Yeah, so there you go. There's a year of guitars. How many did I work out I bought? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, start from this. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guitars. One every 2 months. That's not too bad. I mean, you buy a guitar every 2 months. It seems quite bad when you listen to it like that, doesn't it? And that doesn't even include the J-Pax ones, which technically, okay, the wee red bass, which I don't think I bought this year. I think I'm pretty sure I had that last year. In fact, I definitely had it last year or the year before. I already had that, so okay, it's new. The Raven as well, I already had that. Although that was the one I was going to sell because I had 2 Ravens. I had one that was my original Raven, which had all the bits on it, but it had been like painted. It had been stripped. It used to be yellow. It's like, imagine it was still yellow, but and it kind of looks a wee bit like a toilet seat. It's like a varnished ash body, and I had this other one, and I got Jen to J-Packs that one, and it looks so flipping amazing. I just took all the bits, the hardware off my other one. So my other one, which I'm actually just going to sell to Jen. So there will be another one coming up. So I have technically sold that one anyway, but I'd already had the guitar. The RG I bought, and the Strat. I already had the neck. That was the important bit. The body was new. And the Fernandez bass I was going to sell, but it's one of those ones that's not worth as much money as it should be, because people will be like, "Rrr. I could buy a Harley Benton bass for that." You can. So who did better? Who bought more guitars than that this year? Who didn't buy as many guitars as that and feels quite good about it? Who's got a better varied collection covering all the bases? I didn't buy a bass. There's no new basses. So I don't have the ultimate collection that I bought of just guitars this year, because there has to be a bass involved in it. That bass would do, but it's not new. I already owned that. I don't think I'd had it for very long. I think maybe I had it for maybe sort of winter. Maybe 13, 14, 15 months ago, I think when I got that bass. I seem to remember it being dark and cold. Rock on, as I said, Happy New Year, and like and subscribe and all that stuff, and more shit coming during the week.